Hello everyone, Crypto Heat here. I thought about making a quick video today because I'm seeing something that on the BTC chart, and I think it's better to just explain it quickly with a video. What I'm seeing basically is a bit alarming. It might be nothing or it might be something, so I'm gonna just share it with you and you decide what to do with it. So those of you who have been following for some time now, the one of the thoughts we had from the start was that this whole movement was an ABC up, um, like that, and then that we're going to continue. This ABC is part of B, and then that we will continue the C down. And if you check here, for example, you'll see the chart Floki posted, which had 5 subwaves to C. Maybe we get there, maybe we don't get so far, but anyway, regardless of the count, what I wanted to say is if you look at the start of this here on the MTF, which is the start of a move, like you can see here, there's a move. This one full move, so it's a wave up and a wave down. So this move here started at 29k, and then it made several sub waves, but while it was doing that, you can see the green curve kept diverging downwards. So for example, what you see here is the green curve here is the highest, here it's high again, and then starting from here it's diverging. It's making a lower high between the green here and the green here, while it's making a higher high between this and that and that. Even there are divergences, smaller time frames, but let us look at the green one for now. It's diverging, making a lower high here and a higher high, and then making another lower high and a higher high. So what it does, it simply ends the full move down gradually, and then you have those smaller waves or the sub waves. They do their thing, making the lows and the highs. And then what we're seeing here is that we were almost oversold on all time frames at this drop, and then suddenly this appeared, which is that the gray curve bounced alone. So on the 12-hour time frame, what you see is that this gray curve here bounces alone. The blue one is almost not moving, the green one is extremely oversold. So this for me is alarming. Why is it alarming? Because it simply means that we are very fragile at the moment. So if on the lower time frames we start dumping, that higher time frames are oversold as they are. The higher time frame and the normal time frame are extremely oversold, so we will get a very aggressive move downwards. If that happens, this means that this would have been a fake out. This part here, sorry, this small bounce here is like a fake out. So this is not finished yet, and the people who have been following for some time now know that this can also not happen, meaning you can have this, for example, continue upwards like that, the gray one, and then you can have the blue one just slowly following. This is one possibility, be it that the gray one continues horizontal or just does something like that and the blue one gets pulled up. So that's something that sometimes happens. If you go back, you will see it happening occasionally. You have to keep scanning until you find one. You'll know what I mean. So that's one possibility. The second possibility is simply that this is gonna simply do like that, and then you're gonna get a green highlight while all of them are down there. So the green and the blue and the gray one all meet, and what you're gonna see is that this is gonna go down until it happens, and then maybe it makes a relief bounce. So what do you do with this information? It's very simple. You just know that you have now around a 50 or even slightly more percent chance that this is a fake out, and you act accordingly. So if you know that this is a 50% fake out, or 60 or even 70, it's hard to put a number on that. But if you know that, for me, for example, I I would either let me rephrase. What I would do with this info is probably I would not open any long positions without putting this into consideration. Like if I look at any other chart, know that Bitcoin has a probability of falling. Would I open a short based on that alone? I don't think I would at this part, because if I were to open a short, I would at least need like a 5% stop loss, which is not very profitable with Bitcoin, because this can simply be a small drop, so it could be like just a one-on-one. When would I be interested in opening a short? If this still persists, it would be if when you draw your fib levels from the top to the bottom, if this manages to go up to the 0.5 or the 0.61, I would be interested in opening short. If this is still present, the fake out, because you have to put into consideration that this fake out here is on the 12-hour time frame, so it can take time to play out. It can either happen right away or it can take time. Why? Because, for example, this current 12-hour candle still has like 3 hours, and after the 3 hours it will only stop here, and then the next one is either gonna be a flat one or is gonna start dropping. So if it's a flat one, it still doesn't really pull it up, it means that the drop can happen in the next 12 or 24 hours. Look at, for example, those. Look at that one, for example. Here it had the top and then it had a slight drop before it continued downwards. Other ones are aggressive V's like these ones. So we could be, if we compare to this one, let's just mark it so we know which one I'm talking about. If we are considering this like one of those, so we might be either here or there, okay, and then the next one can be either dropping down or even going to 100 stochastic RSI. So again, this is just an indication for you that there is a possibility of a drop. What does speak against my theory is, for example, that the normal stochastic has been flat for a while now. This is not really usual, so if you compare to previous ones, you will see that this is probably the longest it goes, unless this is like a massive drop like this one here. This one was continuing for 5 days, this one, and there you could see a couple of fake outs, so actually this speaks for it, not against it. What speaks against it is, or not really against it, when you zoom in on the 1 hour, for example, it still doesn't look like a drop because you have the gray underneath the blue and almost sold out. So if you want to paint a full narrative, you would look at it this way. Let's just start from the 12 hour and go lower, okay? If on the 12 hour there is the possibility of a fake out, like I said here, fake out then dump. On the 8 hour there's a possibility of a small fake out. There's a big difference, not a big difference, but some difference between the gray and the blue, and the green one is also oversold, so we are fragile. Always when the green one is oversold, we're fragile for drops, okay? As much as we are there is a possibility that we are in the bottom, so it's a bit tricky how to read this, but just know that if you have the green one oversold and the gray one up high, there's still like a distance to fall into. So the 8 hour is a bit bearish. The 6 hour doesn't really say much, because you can't really say much about this. The 4 hour also doesn't really say much. When gray starts dropping into blue like that, you never know if they're just gonna roll over or they will try picking up again. 3 hours the same. 2 hour is looking short term slightly bullish. So what happens here is very simple. Probably this is this, you see this distance between the gray and the blue. Gray is underneath the blue, is some distance, not much but some, and the green one is overbought. So usually you have here like a 50% chance this is gonna pull up, and then you're gonna see this as the first wave, and then you see more. Of course there is still chance that this pulls down. Like I say, it's a lagging indicator, so it just gives you like two possibilities always, and then with experience you're gonna know which one you feel more comfortable with. The 1 hour is slightly bullish as well, because the gray one has a distance underneath the blue one and is oversold, and the green one is overbought. So how I would read this is probably that on the 1 and 2 hour time frames you still have to fill the gap between gray and blue before we start dropping. But from experience I learned that I just when I have something very alarming like the 12 hour, I give it the higher priority, and I refer to the highs and the lows short term for stop losses or whatever. So again, if I were to short this, I would need to have a stop loss above this, which I don't really like. To conclude or to make a conclusion, I would say this is an alarm signal. This alarm signal just tells you that whatever you're doing in the market, be aware that we can drop lower, and keep an eye on it. If you want to put it into a narrative, like if you check, for example, what we've been saying about Bitcoin today, I think there was let me just show you. Yeah, I think Floki posted a micro count. Yeah, this one, this ABC. So one scenario would be that we are doing ABC like that. So maybe to the 0.618 or 0.5. That would have to happen fast in order not to invalidate this. So maybe in the next 4 hours or 5 hours or even 12 hours we manage to push up without eliminating this fake out, then I'd be more comfortable in shorting with a tighter stop loss. Otherwise I would just take this signal as an indication that I shouldn't really open longs unless they are very safe on their own with proper stop loss and proper setup that I can read. But opening a long just to open a long, no, I wouldn't really open any longs while knowing that the Bitcoin can drop from here. Okay, if you have any questions, just send me in the chat. I hope this is clear enough, and I hope you all trade safe. Okay, have a nice evening everyone. Okay, thank you, bye.